Good morning, ladies. Good morning, everybody. The time is 11:03. We are just 14 on the call. We'll give a little time for us to form a bit of a quorum. My president, good morning, ma. And good morning, every other person on the call.
Moderator of this program.
So thank you for joining us. So let's give a few minutes for others to join us, then we'll start. Thank you very much, everybody. Our facilitator is already online. We're just waiting for our members to make a quorum. Thank you very much. Okay. Good morning, ladies. Good morning, my elders. Good morning, fellow professional women from outside Nigeria. My name is Dr. Joyce Odiachi. I'm the Education Secretary for Pillar Nigeria. You're all welcome on board this. We have with us today Dr. Samuel Okon to take us on women in nation building. We want to use this opportunity to also sincerely apologize. Our first speaker had to step down due to some unavoidable circumstances. My president, Lady Margaret Moore, will give us the opening welcome remark. Lady Moore, please, you have the floor. Welcome once again, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Outright Lady Dr. Joyce Odiachi.
Hello, Ma. Can you unmute, please, ma'am?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm unmuted. You can't hear me?
Yes, my president, we can hear you.
I'm unmuted.
We can hear you, ma'am. Yeah.
So, okay. So thank you very much. And I want to use this opportunity to welcome all our elders here present. I can see one of the founders of Pillar Nigeria, She is an octogenarian. She is one of the 18 women who founded Pillar in 50 years ago, 1973, on the 29th of May, 1973. So we welcome our octogenarian, one of our founders, Chief Mrs. Elizabeth Olubusi. You're welcome, ma'am. I also want to welcome our past presidents. I don't have all of them right on the view, but I can see Mrs. Yomi Onobanjo. Mrs. Yomi Onobanjo, I can see Elder Princess Adekoya. I'm sure as later they will be all recognized. And I want to particularly also welcome our sisters from outside Nigeria. We have in our midst today the Deputy President of African Insurance Women Association, Mrs. Catherine Wahum, all the way from Kenya. You're welcome, my sister. We also, you're welcome. I can also see Blessing Anna. I think Blessing is from Mozambique, if I'm not mistaken. Blessing, is that you? Blessing Anna from Mozambique?
Blessing is from Nigeria, Lagos, VI of Hairs Insurance.
Oh, my darling, sorry. We also have, and I don't know her first name, but I thought she's Blessing. Okay, she's Anna Gumbe.
Okay.
Anna Gumbe.
Okay.
I thought that was okay. Blessing, happy birthday once more.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. I can also recognize the presence of a very senior member of PILA, Mrs. Eno Abasi Unogu. I welcome to you all. I want to just welcome all of you. I will not be able to mention all the names, but please just know that you're all we are highly appreciative of your presence, and we welcome you, and we are happy to have you here. And the moderator already mentioned that due to an unforeseen circumstances, we are not able to have the speaker, the lady on our flyer, but we have a very resourceful person in our midst, in the person of Dr. Samuel Okon. Mr. Samuel Okon, his profile will be read out, I'm sure, before he takes up the floor. But he is an organizational, he specializes in organizational behavior, and he's from the Pan-African University, Lagos Business School. So I'm sure we would not really have a better person to give us a talk on women in nation building, particularly at this time, this month, when we are celebrating International Women's Day. So I thank you all for coming. The theme of the Women's Day is, for us, is embrace equity. And we cannot overemphasize the need for there to be equity in our system, equity in our workplace, equity in the social environment. This is a call for women to identify and overcome intentional and unintentional barriers arising from biases or systemic structure. So we have to be intentional about making sure that there's a fair play in everywhere we are, in the workplace, in our homes, in the social environment. On this note, I want to encourage us to please pay attention to the key speaker so that we'll be able to take something home. I'm sure this webinar, the presentation we do us well, so that we'll take it home and also cascade it down to our younger colleagues who are not here present. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Our moderator can please have the floor.
Thank you very much,
What
Madam
right
President.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you once again to our elders and our distinguished visitors on the platform, fellow forthright ladies. So, straight to business. Dr. Samuel Okon. Dr. Samuel Okon is a public sector professional, passionate about personal development and enabling individuals and organizations to reach their full potential. He has been involved in administration, supervision, mentoring, and research in the public sector for over 20 years. He has also been actively involved in teaching across universities and polytechnics, and is currently a lecturer with the Pan-Atlantic University, Lagos, owned by the Lagos Business School. While enhancing his teaching, research, and administrative skills, Dr. Samuel has been involved in trainings and consultations for both public and private sector organizations. He has published both in local and international journals and has a passion for research interests cut across intersections of leadership, positive organizational behavior, emotional intelligence, dispositional and contextual factors affecting individuals and organizations. Dr. Samuel is here and he's a member of the British Academy of Management, a member of the Academic Management of Nigeria, and a peer reviewer for various journals, one of which includes the Journal of Organizational Effectiveness. Ladies, distinguished elders, and visitors, please help us to welcome Dr. Samuel Okon as he takes us on the journey for women in nation building. Thank you very much. Dr. Samuel, you have the floor, please.
Okay, good morning, ladies. Good morning, elders in the house, and also ladies from outside the shores of Nigeria. It's a pleasure to be in your midst, and I'm sure, apart from what I'm going to do, I will be blessed because I'm in the midst of women. And I will also say Happy Women's Day to every one of you. And by the grace of God, women in nation building is a topic of discussion all over the world. It is not just centered on just Nigeria. It's something that has become a global discussion. And I don't think we will be able to exhaust this discussion. But we'll start up, we'll look at the role of women in nation building, and we'll look at what a nation is. What particularly makes it interesting when you have a woman in the home front? What makes it uninteresting when a woman is not in the home front? We will look at all this, and in looking at this, we'll look at the content we'll cover. And please, ladies and our elders, this is going to be an interactive section. I will need your inputs. It's not going to be a one-way traffic. We would discuss, because I can see from the introduction, we have women with experiences, and I would love for us to also share some of those experiences. Myself, we can also learn from it. So we would first of all look at the introduction. From the introduction, we will look at the role of women in nation building. We would look at the, let me see if I can share my slide. Okay, please, Can we see the slide?
Yes, we can, Doctor. You can put it on slide mode. It's showing,
Okay.
but you can put it on slide mode. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll look at women's contribution to nations building. We'll look at the challenges and the barriers to women participation in nation building. We'll also look at the strategies and solutions for promoting women participation in nation building. Then we'll also conclude this discussion. First, what is nation building? And it's as simple as this. Nation building is the process of creating a sense of nationality, of a sense of national identity, stability, and development in a country. It involves various aspects such as political, economic, social, and cultural development, as well as establishing institutions and infrastructure that support the growth and progress of the nation. This is what nation building is. And in all of this, we may begin to ask ourselves, can this be achieved without women being involved? And my answer will be a very big no. Because the role of a woman in nation building, we cannot be overemphasized. Now let's look at what is the role of women in nation building. The role of women have been described as highly essential to nation building. Research has shown it, studies have discussed it. It has been a continuous discussion. They have therefore been charged, that is, the women have been charged to fully utilize their innate talents, harness them while raising children and contributing positively to the growth of their homes, community, and the society at large. This implies that a woman's place does not just end in the home, it extends to the communities and further extends to the society. Traditionally, coming from the cultural background of Africa, it is believed that it is in the woman's place to solely raise children. But we've seen a deviation from all this. Apart from raising children, professional ladies, I would want to ask, please, what other areas do you think that women can actually contribute towards nation building? I said it from the beginning, it's going to be more of interaction. So what other areas, apart from the fact that we assume that children are supposed, the women are supposed to raise children, what other areas do we think women can contribute before we continue? The floor is open. Hello,
Okay,
ladies. Okay.
Yes, doctor. So please, you can signify by raise of your hand, then we'll take it that way. So Eno Abasi, you have the floor, please.
Good morning, guest speaker, Dr. Kun. One of the areas is not but one of the areas women are contributing a lot. Nation building is building the economy. Unfortunately, the contribution of women have not really been acknowledged. But I will tell you, because I like to speak for the underserved and the unrecognized section of the society. Yes, we have the professional women, the forthright ladies in insurance gathered here. But in the morning, I live in Lagos State. If you go to Ojuelegba, 5 a.m., women are in the buses, going to the markets. They are going in the villages, they are going to the farm with a baby on their back. They are all working the economy. So women contribute a lot, although not recognized, not celebrated, to economic development of a nation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That was really interesting. Going the informal way, really interesting. Okay.
Patience,
any other person to add to that, please? Yeah.
Forthright Lady Patience, you have the floor, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Women or women in that experience that are also adding value to younger women, trying to help them to develop their entrepreneurial skills. Because once all of those mentoring activities are done, that would then empower the women to be able to give back to the society and also develop themselves. So more like mentoring, coaching activities in order to empower younger women. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Forthright Lady Patience. Doc, you have the floor. You can go on, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that contribution. It's also important that we discuss that, because right now it's going beyond what people think, what they believe it should be in terms of women just raising the children. And from what our ladies in the house have said, we can see that it has gone beyond just raising of children. The women are the pillars of the society. The women are the bedrock on which the nation can build its capacity in terms of development. So, having looked at this, we'll look at the importance of women. Now, we've said women's role in nation building cannot be overemphasized. Women have unique perspectives and experiences that contribute to policy and decision-making process. A typical example is what Our Lady Eno said concerning women who wake up in the morning, move with children, go to the farm, do so many things. These are experiences which the other gender will not have. I stand to be corrected, but this is uniquely attached to the woman. Now, the inclusion of women in leadership positions can also help to ensure diverse voices are heard and represented. Because the participation of women in nation building has a positive impact in the society, in the development of the society. I will take us to a quote by Hillary Clinton. And she said, when women participate in economy, everyone benefits. This is a strong quote. When women participate in the economy, everyone benefits. I will take you to the word, another quote by Margaret Thatcher, who said, if you want but if you want something done, ask a woman. So these are two beautiful and powerful quotes that shows that the role of women in nation building is important, is key, is fundamental, and should not be swept under the carpet. Now, how do women contribute to nation building? in as much as they are still not fully recognized. I'll use the word fully recognized because nation building through political participation have the voting rights. Participation is key because when women begin to get into politics, begin to get into political offices, it will make room for their voices to be heard. There is another contribution, which is the economic participation, which was raised earlier by one of our contributors, entrepreneurship, labor force participation. Today, research has shown that unlike those days where we say the man is the breadwinner of the house, especially within the context of Africa, today it has further it has shown that women are beginning to drive what happens in the home. Women are even more entrepreneurs than men. So economic participation is a key area where women have contributed to nation building. We also have the social and cultural participation, which has to do with education and healthcare, social welfare and community development. Part of what we have today is the fact that there is a need and a continuous need for women to move into education, especially within the context of developing countries. And the encouragement from other women to also assist these other women in ensuring that they are well educated and their resources are fully utilized. When it comes to healthcare, the role of women cannot be overemphasized as well. The welfare of the people, of the community, including the development. These are ways women have contributed to nation building. But what are the challenges and barriers to women participation in nation building? Number one here is gender inequality, which has continuously been a debate, a subject of discussion, where the male believe that by religion or by culture that women are not supposed to be equal to the men. It is being seen as a threat. But there is a need for us as women too to play our role when it comes to gender inequality, given that for a man, they believe that you want to come and take their position. And part of this is the fact that some men still believe that a woman is supposed to be in the kitchen, is not supposed to go to school, is not supposed to have access to certain resources. And even when the woman manages to go to school, have access to these resources, there is discrimination in the workplace and also in politics. So these are big challenges. But I believe with the current trend, we are beginning to surmount some of these challenges. There is also traditional gender roles and stereotypes. There is gender-based violence and harassment, which today people are beginning to look at the right direction towards this gender-based violence and harassment on women. Another challenge, which has to do with traditional gender roles and stereotypes, is the limited representation and leadership opportunities. Women need to be represented. You women need to be represented. You women need to be in leadership opportunities because it is at that point that decisions are being made. It is at that point that your voices can be heard. But once women are limited, when it comes to when it comes to decision being made, it becomes difficult. The decisions that will be made might not be in favor of women. So these are some challenges that we see today. And gradually, I believe that these challenges will be surmounted. But what are the strategies and solutions for promoting women participation in nation building? First of all, we need to have legal and policy reforms. This is very, very important. Gender-sensitive laws and policies need to be enacted. Even though we know that in some developing countries, this have started. In Western world, we have this already. We need to ensure that there are quotas that have been set aside for women. Once this is done, it will help in decision making, because the truth there is nothing can be done if women are not at the leadership position where decisions are being taken, because that is the key, that is fundamental. Then there is also need for capacity building and empowerment. What the professional ladies are doing, the question is, how many more of these do we have in other industries, in other sectors that can help? Because women need to be educated. They need the skills. They need mentorship, just like one of the ladies said. There is need for mentorship from those who are elders to be able to mentor the young ones, tell them how things are being done, how it should be done. There is need for this. There is need for integrity. A woman needs integrity because it is key. It is fundamental for nation building. A woman's character means a lot for nation building. And it's also important, let me state here, that there is also the need to make women understand what the role of emotional intelligence will play in their participation in nation building. Emotional intelligence is key in whatever we do in life. Being able to understand other people is important for decision making. There is also the need for public awareness and advocacy, which is what is being currently done now. The cry is there, the campaign is there. Women are beginning to speak out. Women are beginning to let people know what it's supposed to be, how it's supposed to be. But this is not just enough. We need to continue. We need to begin to ensure that we put women in leadership positions who will be able to drive policies that will be able to suit. Because the truth there is, research has shown that no nation, no country grows or develops without the input from the women. There is a relationship between women involvement in a nation and the development of the nation. And it's time we begin to engage the men folks, the boys, our children, in gender equality efforts. It's not going to be easy, but we need to start pushing all this. It's a gradual process, but I believe we will get there. We need to mentor these upcoming ladies. They need to understand their role in the society. They need to understand their role in the home. I will call it a tripod. For a woman, I will call it a tripod responsibility. Because one, you have your responsibility towards your God. You have the responsibility towards the home and the responsibility towards the society at large. All this tripod is what leads to nation building for any country. So it is important that we begin to put in place and continuously enlighten our male folks, continuously enlighten our children as they come up on the importance and the role of women in the society. So, ladies and our elders in the house, we will discuss and we will talk. But let me conclude by saying this, that without women, nothing is possible for men. A woman is the basic unit of the society. She makes a family. The family makes a home. The home makes the society. And the society ultimately makes the nation. A country cannot progress until and unless its women, the women take initiative for development works. Thank you, my ladies. I will now leave the floor open for questions. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Dr. Okon. Thank you for a very interesting and insightful lecture there. We really appreciate you. Ladies, please indicate by raise of your e-hands if you have any comments. It doesn't have to be a question. If you have comments, if you have suggestions, if you have, yes, I can see the hand of our DP, Madam Abimbola. Please, you have the floor, ma. You have the floor, ma. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very, very much, Dr. Okon. Everything that you have said is so, so highly appreciated and also so apt for the moment that we're in, especially in this nation. But what really bothers me is this. According to the latest maybe information that we gathered from the especially after COVID, it was said that it would take roughly about 136 years for the gender equality situation in the nations to come to pass. That is between the male and the female. And I think this is a very, very, very tall order in the third world, in Nigeria in particular. So I just want a little bit of enlightenment that how do we close this gender gap? 136 years is just too much. How do we close this gender gap, especially in this country, Nigeria, and within our own profession, in particular in insurance? Thank you so much.
Okay. That's a very interesting question. And 136 years is a long time. I don't know if any of us will still be alive by then. But what I know is that a journey will start with a step. That's what I know. And today, as we speak, if we look at the world statistics when it comes to sex ratio, I don't think the male currently, I think they're about 50 point something percent, and the women about 44 point something percent. You would see that this gap is not so much. We just have to start from somewhere. We can't fold our hands and just keep watching. And I'll give you a practical example of things that have happened of late, especially in Nigeria. But I'll look at it from, let's look at the US. For the first time, we had a woman vying for the office of the president in the United States. Yes, it wasn't easy, but there was an. Currently, as we speak in Nigeria, you can look at 5 universities where women are the vice chancellors. For example, in the University of Lagos, which is a federal university, this is the first time a woman would be the vice chancellor of that great university. In my university, the Pan Atlantic University, a woman is the vice chancellor. going round, you would see women in position. Yes, it is not going to be easy, but we will get there. Let us not forget that there is also a cultural perspective to all this, where it is believed that a man shouldn't be under the guidance of a woman. But I want to believe with the current movement, with what we have, with the effort women are putting all over the world, it might not get to that number of years, but we need to start. The earlier we start, the better. If we don't start now, we are likely to move the 136 years to another 137, down to 150 to 200. My suggestion will be, let's start just like it has started. Let's keep moving. And I believe we'll get there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Okon. We have Madam Evelyn's hand up. Please, Madam, you have the floor.
Okay, so thank you so much, Dr. Okon, for the presentation. I think you are spot on in most of the things that you've said. I am Evelyn Nkalubo Muwemba, the Vice President of the Women in Insurance in Uganda. I'm also the Vice President of the East African region for the African Women's Association in Insurance. I just wanted to point out that true, women are actually very important in whatever everybody does, be they male or female. But the unfortunate bit is that women, much as we're important, we're never recognized. That's why they're saying probably in 168 years we will be. No, we won't be if we don't do anything about it. That's why in Uganda, we actually support women's organizations, especially like now in insurance, we have WIN. Yes, we are pushing forward. We're helping the girl child be able to rise to another level. There are countries like in the Middle East where women actually stay in the kitchen. Suddenly 160 years, I don't know, they'll probably be there for 1,000 years if nothing happens, or their religion is not liberalized to levels. So we need to work hard. This is the way to go. As Doctor said, the journey starts with one step. We are on the move and we are on the right track. I think we should keep the candle burning. Thank you so much for this initiative.
Thank you, Ma. Do we have any other person? Any question, comments, suggestions? Please just indicate by a raise of your e-hand. Please feel free to contribute. Like Dr. Okon said, it's an interactive session. We're all learning from each other here. For me, something interesting got me in the comments when he talked about the tripods of the women. And he said something, he said, we have to be very conscious about what we need to do. And this was sort of highlighted by forthright lady Abimbola Onokumaya when she said 100 and something years, that's massive. So are we asking ourselves, how do we start? For me, one of the things that I took away from that tripod was women supporting and uplifting women. And I want to believe that pillar, both Nigeria, Uganda, and every other place will be very intentional about pushing ourselves out there. I think over time, one of the things that seems to hold us back, it's one thing to push for policies, it's one thing to push for gender equality, it's one thing to push for quota systems, but when we are not available to take advantage of these openings, then we'll still be where we are. So ladies, I would like us to think, how do we put ourselves out there, supporting each other to put one person, two people, three people, and I think we'll get there. We have Madam Enos' hand up and then Madam Catherine. So please, let's take it in that order. Thank you.
Hello, sorry. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think you've basically said what I had in mind, that we have to be very intentional as women in getting into those spaces. The men will not give us the space we are looking for on a platter of gold. And we all agree for a woman to get to some of those spaces, like it's always said, you have to work like 10 times more than a man. So as women, we have to be actively in the place of advocacy to put in a voice for other women. We have to be intentional. The men will not just give it to us. At the risk of being labeled feminist and stuff like that, people who have made great strides in the past have been given names. We shouldn't shy away from, putting a voice in for a woman, not mere tokenism or just, it's a woman, so put her there. We have more than enough competent women to occupy these positions, and we have to be at the forefront. And one thing I would urge all of us, every forthright lady here, is that because education is one thing that will take us to the place. Find a girl child that has admission to go to the university, but the parents cannot, and give that girl a scholarship. We have to be at the forefront there. Do an NGO, even if it is a one-man NGO, 10 women you can support, empowerment. We just have to do these things. Thank you so much for this opportunity to lend my voice to this conversation.
Thank you so much, Forthright Lady Eno. We have Forthright Lady Catherine. Please, Ma, you have the floor.
Thank you. My name is Catherine Wahome from Kenya. I'm the president of Kenya Women in Insurance in Kenya and the vice president of Pillar Africa. I am honored to be here with you great ladies. Thank you, our speaker, for this morning. It's a gentleman who, for sure, is supporting women and looking at what can be done for a woman to be recognized. My question is, do we women present ourselves on the table where negotiations take place? Because we could be hiding our faces and then complaining. But I think we have to take our chairs. If we are not given a seat, you take your seat there to the table and be present. About careers, it is very important. There's a lady who have just spoken before me about sponsoring young ladies. For us in Kenya Women in Insurance, we want to go to schools. Insurance is not a known career for women because it has not been there. The penetration is quite low in Kenya, and I think in Nigeria the same. But we want to go there and see girls, we entice them and see us as women of power for them to come to insurance industry and be recognized there. Thank you very much for this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you very much, Ma. We have PP, Forthright Lady Yomi Onobanjo's hands up. And after that, we'll take Madam Chinatu, Forthright Lady Chinatu, and then our president, Lady Margaret Moore. PP Yomi Onobanjo, please, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Good morning once again, everyone. And I'd like to say a big thank you to our speaker, Dr. Okon, and to all the views that have been aired after the presentation. I'd like to deviate a bit. Yes, my name is Yomi Onobanjo. I'm a past president of Pillar, and I run an educational institution, and I'm also into training. I'd like to deviate a bit from some of the views, however, collaborating also with every point that has been raised. I'd like to emphasize that as women, and of course as parents, how much values do we really place in the lives of the children we're nurturing? because the truth to life is that the foundation of life is crucial. And whatever values we place in the lives of each of our children, now I'm talking gender, both boy and girl, they begin to appreciate who they are as individuals and who they will eventually become. A lot of times when we look at ourselves, some of these mistakes, some of these errors, of course, it's from parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, anything that had been said, we just align with it, you know. But in our respective homes, how exactly do we address issues that happen in our homes? Now I'm trying to focus on the emotional and social development of children. It is what they have planted as the foundation that would blossom into what they become in future. So if as parents, we tend to say to the boy child, you're a boy, so you wash the car. You're a boy, so you drive the car. You're a boy, you know, those things, it would stick. And then you're a girl, this is what you have to do. We have to encourage our children in line of blending so that as children, as youths, as teenagers, as youths, as young adults, we all realize that we are individuals and we have values in our system. So these values we would develop. Talking about values, I'm talking about the skills. They would develop different skills as individuals, not just as a boy or a girl. Parents, we need to be very careful how we address issues in our homes because our children learn from these things. They learn from what we put them through. They learn from what they see happening in our respective homes. And some girls, you know, some children, some girls become a bit timid. They feel, oh, they're not allowed to say this. They cannot do this. It has to be my brother that would do this. No, please, as women, we also need to embrace ourselves, to develop ourselves in different skills, to develop ourselves mentally, to improve ourselves emotionally with happenings around us and knowing how we deal with these things. And so the ones coming after us would also begin to learn and know how they will carry the baton to run the race. You know, I was listening to a speaker recently, and she just summarized it by saying, we have to arise as people. We have to, first of all, awake. We have to arise, and then we have to act. So I want to encourage us as women, along with all other speakers that have spoken today, that women, let's awake, let's arise, let's act. Let's start from our little corners, like the speaker said. Let's start taking those steps. Start from the foundation of life. And then these foundations will grow into the structures that has been designed for the foundation, for the structure to be. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you very, very much. The very, very cogent point you have just pointed. Let's start from the foundation, and the foundation builds the structures. As pillar members, we should pay attention to that. Thank you so much, Ma. Forthright Lady Chinatu, please, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Joyce. Thank you, Dr. Okon. Thank you, my president, my PPs, and every other forthright lady. Most of the things I even wanted to say has already been said, especially from our PP, our PP Yomi Onabanjo said. But I also just want to add and encourage us that as women, one thing is sure, when we choose to stick together, we can move mountains. There are so many things we can achieve. You know, we should stop some of us body shame each other. We do a lot of things that, you know, actually discourage and help to instead of building confidence in people, especially for the younger ladies coming up, we do things that kind of intimidate them. Even, you see, we're talking about nation building. We don't have to go too far. Within the confines of our offices or wherever we find ourselves, even at home, communities, churches, as much as possible, we should try to be a voice to speak against every form of injustice, every form of intimidation, you know, being meted out to women. You know, that could also be a step in the right direction. We can start from such things. You're in a place where you see a young lady being harassed and all that, and you know that you can actually influence that thing to be stopped. You speak up. You don't say it's not my business. I don't want anybody to tag me. No, we should also learn to speak up. When we see every form of intimidation, injustice being meted out to our fellow women, or especially younger, ladies coming up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Forthright Lady Chinatu. We have our president, Forthright Lady Moore. Please, you have the floor, ma. I'm not sure. I think maybe she dropped, probably network. I'm sure she'll try to log in back. Oof, I think maybe she had network challenge. Seems like she dropped off the call. So while we'll be waiting for her to come back in, do we have any other comments or contributions from any other person in the house? Okay, so we'll be waiting for her to do that. And if we do a quick recap of the points that have been highlighted here, we'll see that we are enjoined as ladies to rise up as a people, to wake up and to act, ensure that we push the foundation strongly so that we have strong structures. We're also supposed to support each other by sticking together, as when we stick together, we achieve more. Let's support each other and build confidence. We are all different individuals, different orientations, different backgrounds. So when we support each other, we'll help each other to grow. As women, what are our values? When Dr. Oko was giving the speech, he also talked about integrity. What do we stand for? What will we be known for? Does integrity mean that we can't be flexible? That's a question we need to ask ourselves. Supporting advocacy and education, very key. What's our main project? What's our focus? These are things we need to sit back and think. Do we present ourselves as women? When the opportunities come, how many times do we present ourselves? Are we always available at the tables that conversations take place? Do we make ourselves available? Forthright ladies, let's start asking ourselves. Or do we feel, oh, no, I can't do this, I can't stand it, I don't want their stress. Let's be willing to take up challenges. Yes, sometimes we keep hearing this, oh, a woman has to do something 10 times, of the same thing a man would do in the same position. But I think we need to change that narrative. When we are together, when we are more, I believe that the 10 times would reduce to as much as 0 if we continue to do that. So Forthright ladies, any comments from any other person? Yes, our VP, Forthright Lady Omotola Shotade, your hands are up. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, our moderator, Dr. Joyce Ojachi. Thank you to guest speakers as well and all the people who have made comments already. Very insightful and impactful contributions have been made, which are very, very, very cogent. I just want to remind us of the importance of mentorship. There are times when we have, yes, as women, we have those ambitions, as in, okay, we want to aspire to be this, we want to aspire to get to that level, but sometimes we don't know how. But are there people who are currently there that we can look up to? Are there people who have, gotten to that level we want to get to and can actually, give us advice or walk us through on how to get there? So I just want to remember that mentorship is also important. Let's seek out mentors to help us through and help us get to that place we want to get to. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Forthright Lady Tola. We have our president back on call. Forthright Lady Margaret Moore, please, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Thank you to all our members and our guests who have spoken. Sincere apologies. My network just acting up this morning. I know a lot have been said about how it might take about 136 years from some studies, but I'm sure if we are all intentional about it, if we all concerned, it will not take that period for us to bridge the gap. I was in a school recently, and I found out that in the Hall of Fame for all the classes 1 to 6, there were about 18 girls, 16 girls. There are about 16 girls of all the 18 students. It's a male and female school, being on the top of their classes. So the girl child is naturally brilliant, if only given the support. We need to nudge our children. We need to nudge the female child all around us. And to this end, Pilar in her 50 years of existence, have thought it wise to bring in a project, right? So to mark, as one of the initiatives we have to mark our 50th anniversary, we'll be giving scholarships to 10 female child, 10 female children, people that we are sure cannot afford education. There will be screening, there will be criteria. There will be a committee to look into this, but I think is an initiative that I crave the indulgence of all forthright ladies to embrace. If we see 10 girl children through secondary school and through university, we will indeed be saying that, or have the be just a woman child. Pilar also, for so many years, we've been having career talks where we go to secondary schools, we go to the tertiary institutions to talk to students, not just female children or female students, but students generally, about insurance. If we have had times when the movement we want to identify with.
We apologize sincerely. It appears the president's network is having a bit of fluctuation. I'm sure she will get that sorted out and get back to us. Sincere apologies. It happens once in a while, never planned.
Sorry, my moderator. Let me just round up. I don't know why my network is just acting up. So I just want to thank all of us. I want to encourage us to please be intentional about bridging this gap. If we got to where we are through much struggle, should not allow the next girl child to experience the same hardship. So both in our places of work, in our social environment, let's be intentional about nudging the girl child to move faster than they're supposed to do. Thank you very much once again. Thank you so much as our speaker, Dr. Okon. We appreciate you a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you, everybody on the call. We promised that because we know everyone is busy, that we're not going to keep this interaction very long.
But I don't think so.
Tradition,
thank you so much.
As part of our tradition, we usually have, when we have our elders on the call, we have them give us a parting word, which we usually call words on marble. to that effect, I would like to call on Chief Mrs. Elizabeth Olubusi, our elder on the call, for her to give us a word of wisdom before we round up this program. Chief Mrs. Elizabeth Olubusima, please.
Good afternoon.
Let's have
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? I'm having some problem with my.
Yes, ma, we can hear you. Good afternoon, ma. You're welcome.
Good afternoon. Actually, I wanted to raise my hand to say something, but my line had been a bit funny since morning. Actually, I appreciate the efforts of everybody that had come round and that had contributed to the discussion of today. We must be proud of ourselves, and we thank the guest speaker for the details he had given us and suggestions for improving our contributions and getting more of our girls to come up, to wake up and to contribute their own lots. Well, we've come a long way off. We knew what many of us suffered when we were young. I joined the insurance industry when I was 22 years, and I spent my full 40 years in the industry before I stepped off. Going through rank and file in any organization, not only industry, girls have faced.
DP, please, can you mute? DP, please, can you mute? Please go ahead, ma.
So we know what many people face. It's not only in insurance, but in all spheres of endeavors. Apart from petty trading, where you have majority of the women, you have those people who had even shown great methods in academia, in specialization like mechanical or any other engineering lines, even medical. We find that women face a lot of problems. So what I would suggest, I know you've been doing a lot, and many other groups too, women, professional women groups, have been working hard to see that they are not put at the background. They've been coming up. You can see it even in banks now. Many girls are taking their positions as the chief executives, to which we are very happy and we thank God. So what's the only problem I just want to mention is that each one of us, whatever position you could be, try to pull along, cite the talents in the gift in every woman in your organization or in your environment, and try to advise them to work hard, to get better. Just as somebody said, wake up, rise, wake up, rise, and then move. Because if we say we are women and we don't bother, we don't put in efforts, people will continue to push us at the back. But whilst trying to aspire, don't let us be proud. Some of us are proud. And instead of facing the responsibilities in the right way, we apply, we try to bring in matters which shouldn't come in, like trying to show I'm so important. Nobody can talk to me. Even your subordinates, other girls run away from you, which is not ideal. We have to see the way of working together with every level of staff. I won't say girls alone. And then another thing is we have to promote ourselves. When men are victimizing us, we find that we ourselves contribute to pulling down each other. And I know many of you had gone through the same thing. What I'm saying, it's only the grace of God that made many of you to reach the level that you are now. But we don't want this to continue. When you are gifted, try to bring out the metal in you, apply your knowledge, and try to carry people along with you so that it's not you alone. And finally, when you have the men, many men don't like women around them. Let us face reality. I could remember somebody saying, trying to put somebody under me, above me when I was in service. And when I queried, I said, but I'm surprised. This is, I'm hearing this. He said, but why are you anxious? My wife was a teacher for so many years, and she didn't get to the level of, principal or something, until after 20-something years. And I just said, well, I'm surprised. If she went that way, if she didn't improve herself along the line, then she could be treated that way. But if I sat for the CII exams and I worked in so places, not only in Nigeria, and I'm here, I don't see, unless you have anything against me, if I've done anything not appropriate or not to the level that I should be rewarded for high standard of work, then I will accept it. But once I'm having my recommendations and I know what I'm contributing the best to my organization, I see no reason why I should be pushed behind, and somebody that's qualified after me, that was even a junior to me, should now be put above me. We need to work hard, then we need to be brave, to be courageous, to be bold, and then prove our mettle, and then also help the others coming behind us, so that even when you are not at work, there's no, you don't have any gap of laxity or anything. And then when you are stepping off any stage, you have somebody else, especially a female, to take position. Well, I thank you all. We have a lot to say on this topic. It's a very broad one. And I thank you for bringing this up as one major thing we are discussing of recent, and particularly to mark this year's Mother's Day and Women's Day too. Mother and women, it's all the same. And
thank you so much, ma.
Thank you very much. More grace to your elbow. Thank you, our guest speaker.
Thank you,
and
ma.
our friends from the other African countries.
Thank you. Can we have Loretta Eze mute her phone? Loretta, can you please? Can you mute everybody, please? Thank you. So sorry about that. So sorry about that. So thank you so much, ma. We really appreciate your words on marble. Thank you so much. Dear forthright ladies, thank you very much. To round this up, we'll have our DP, forthright lady Abimbola Onokomaya, to give the vote of thanks on behalf of the professional insurance ladies. DP.
Yeah, thank you very, very, very much, our dear moderator, Dr. Diachi. We're so blessed with your talent and your skills that you have been putting, up and helping us out since this administration commenced. We are indeed very grateful. And the way and manner in which you moderated this particular webinar is also in a highly professional manner, of which we say thank you. To our main speaker, Dr. Samuel Okon, I mean, you definitely put us to the test, made sure we put on our thinking caps, and elicited from us the best that we could have brought forth in this particular webinar. Thank you, Dr. Okon. We know that you actually went and did research because of us, and we are grateful for your time. We're grateful for your skills. We know that you are a highly sought after speaker anyway, and it is because of what you always give out at the various webinars and the various fora in which you participate. We're grateful to you, Dr. Okon. Thank you, sir. The skill that you used today, the way you elicited even, contributions from us, it's only somebody who is highly skilled that could have done that. We are grateful. I really want to thank all the elders on this forum, the past presidents, those that contributed, those that did not contribute, by way of conversation, but also decided to attend. It just shows your level of commitment towards the Professional Insurance Association and your intention to see that we make a success of this administration. You usually humble yourself and mix yourself and your opinions with us. And it really encourages us to go further. We are indeed very, very grateful. Our past presidents, Lady Isioma, past president, Yomi Onabanjo, and all our elders and past presidents. But indeed, I need to specifically thank those professional insurance women that joined us from outside Nigeria, be it from Kenya, be it from Uganda. We're so grateful because 1, 2, 3 good heads are better than just one. When we have 2 good heads, 3 good heads, it's always better than one. And we learn from each other. Iron sharpens iron. And we're grateful for you taking your time out to contribute, to participate. Indeed, I cannot conclude this vote of thanks, without mentioning the words of wisdom that our dear Chief Mrs. Olubusi brought forth. A person with experience is not at the mercy of a person with an argument. When you have experience and experience speaks forth, somebody that just comes with a lame argument cannot defeat you. She's spoken from the depth of her experience on the job. I met her in the National Insurance Company of Nigeria. We used to call it Nikon at the time. And she was a rising star. And she was a mentor. And she was a woman that we continued to look onto. My 10 years in that company, people like Chief Mrs. Olubusi really assisted in showing us the way and making us know our rights as women. I want to mention that, you see, in all these challenges, all these strategies, all these ways out, all these value placements that we have been advised, all this capacity building, all this intentionality, in everything, we cannot do without God. And so my greatest thanks goes to the Almighty God that has actually put us in this highly esteemed profession, the profession of insurance. In other climates, insurance is the big senior sister in financial services, while banking takes second place. In Nigeria, we're still the junior cousin in financial services. but we are definitely going to take our place, especially by virtue of this kind of learnings and this kind of webinars. To this extent, we're indeed very grateful. To my president, Lady Margaret Moore, I mean, you're a woman full of ideas. You have made all those ideas, you've put them together. You are making it to come to pass, peeling it layer by layer as an onion. And this association has been the better for you. Thank you for great leadership. We're grateful. Thank you, everybody. And I say, receive this thanks, God, in the mighty name of Jesus, and guide us all our way until the next webinar in Jesus' name. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, our DP. Thank you, everybody, once again. So to round up, just one more, please, can we put on our videos for a snapshot, please? Just 1 minute, please, so that we just quickly do that. We'd like to see our pretty faces. Thank you so much, our elders. Thank you, our president, Lady Moore. Thank you, our president from Uganda and Kenya. We really appreciate you. Please, can we have our videos on briefly? Thank you so much.
I can't put on my video.
Why can't you, Pressy? Please, can we have...
I can't put on my video.
Kunle, can you please assist, enable people? Then let's quickly do the snapshot. Thank you so much. Kunle, please go ahead. Thank you, everybody. We're seeing everybody. Apipi Fumi Babintin Ashaye. Good afternoon, Ma. You're welcome on the call. Thank you, Forthright Lady Patricia Yaro. Thank you so much. Thank you, Forthright Lady Adetola, Keshiro, Gloria Idemko. Too many to call. Thank you, Elder Elizabeth Olubusi. Thank you so much, Mrs. Olushetire. And thank you, Madam Evelyn. You're so welcome on the call. Thank you very much, Madam Catherine. So, Kunle, have we gotten the snapshots? All right. Thank you, everybody. We've gotten it. Thank you so much. And do have a very, very wonderful day and a blessed weekend. We really appreciate you joining. Without your participation, it wouldn't have been an interactive session. We hope to do more as time goes on. And please, in education, we like to have suggestions and advice on what you think we can do to grow Pillar, what you think we can do to build, the whole society as a whole. One of the agendas of our President, Lady Moore, is to actually make great impact, not just to the women, but to also the youths in the society. And this was actually emphasized too by Pipi Onobanjo. So please, when you have suggestions, always feel free to drop them on the platform, or you can reach me. My name is Dr. Joyce Odiachi. I work with Cornerstone Insurance. Please, we are willing to get advice, comments, supports, and everything. I would also like to use this opportunity to quickly say a big thank you to Forthright Lady Eniton Sholari, the MD of YOA Insurance Brokers, for her support in putting this program together as well. We really appreciate you. Thank you, everybody, and do have a nice day and have a nice weekend. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Bye.
much.
Well done, Dr.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you,
Dr. Joyce.
Bye. Bye, doctor. Bye.
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 Bye.